welcome to my latest Diecast model review, and this time I'll be looking at two models from two different brands, and this one is one of my most wanted models that only resurfaced recently, and the model I'm talking about is the HPI Racing, which got their name changed to Ignition model. And the reason why I'm looking at these two models is because they are the only company who made the R34 Z Nismo, and also they are the only guys who attempted to make the Millennium Jade shade, which I like a lot. So let's get them side by side. So I'll try to get 4 checkpoints. What I meant by that is 4 points of differences between these two models. First off, this one is a diecast model from the AUTOart, and this is of course in a is made in resin. And difference being that this one has all of the openings that you can open: the doors, the hood, the trunk. And the resin model is fully sealed, but in exchange it's got fantastic panel lines. Second of all, the age of the mold is actually way older. This is made back in 2002, I think, or 04, and this one was first released in 2013, I believe. And let's talk about one more thing here. For the diecast model is fully detailed. So the AUTOart model is fully detailed. I mean, from the top to the bottom. And I'll show you the HPI slash Ignition if you have their latest models. So this resembles that of a GT Spirit, but then it's got extra cooling for the gasoline at the bottom, which is pretty nice. And it's got actually more photo egg parts inside to make up for the difference in details or difference in opening parts. So it took me a while to figure out the difference in the fascia, and it's pretty important because a model will make or break if it's got a weird front, and both are pretty good. But the AUTOart, it seems that they have a taller headlamp versus the HPI, and thus it gives the HPI the upper edge. It looks way more intimidating. And the AUTOart, especially the hood, it scoops up pretty high. You see how the HPI looks pretty wide compared to the AUTOart. It has to do with how much slope it has on the front. I'll give you another look. Yeah, HPI definitely gave them a slight artistic touch to it, and it makes it look way more menacing. So let's talk about the color. Where AUTOart did release a Millennium Jade shade, but yeah, I too had that one before, but the difference in color on the bumper and the rear bumper was hideous. You can see from it's like completely different shade across the fender, across the panels. That's why I got rid of it way earlier. And in terms of shade from AUTOart, the silver is a very good color. There's practically no fault to it, or at least for time being. Let's zoom out a little bit, and I think both capture the rear pretty well. But the again, HPI has a better detail on the bottom, the area where the underneath is showing up. Although the HPI did have a slight issue with the paint right here. You can see it looked just like some kind of shadow underneath, or the paint just got runny around here. That's giving it some kind of weird, kind of like burnt mark on the paint. So that's the only fault that I could think of. And the window trim is kind of rough also. But I do prefer it to have some kind of rough points on the model because it is made by man. So these makes you believe that someone actually made it, not a robot. Let's look at the wheels and the brake package. So as you can see, this is AUTOart, and I noticed that they didn't have any letterings on the tire wall, and it's got pretty nice details on there. But then on the HPI, I think I see Potenza on there. What was it? Was again pretty light. It makes it more believable. And the wheel set again is close to that of the AUTOart, but I do like their tire mark, the letterings on the tire wall. Let's talk about one more thing here too, the badging, because GTR has a lot of badging up front. HPI looks more definitive for the badging. See how the R, the silver around the R doesn't look quite believable. On the HPI it looks pretty cool. And let's shift to the rear. The rear, you can see AUTOart's badge is pretty thick. And HPI took it and made it much thinner to look at, and it's smaller lettering, actually bigger lettering. Yeah, I don't see any difference on the right side sticker though. So let's look at the last part here, is the interior, and I think AUTOart wins it by just a slight margin, because you can actually feel the flocking for the carpet done. You can see a lot more than the HPI. But then HPI does look pretty believable, from the gauge cluster to the dash display. Pretty cool. So let's tally up all my thoughts on these two models. And if you guys were to ask me which one is better between the two, it's pretty difficult to decide. I think HPI took it and made it more aggressive. You can see the front, just so impressive, versus the AUTOart. AUTOart looks kind of not as aggressive. And HPI definitely made a better model on this particular color, Millennium Jade. So I'll probably lean towards HPI, quite frankly. Yeah, I'll definitely do a full comparison on the Diecastxhange forum. You can check me out there if you want. So let me know what you think of these two models. So until then, see you guys. Bye bye.